Hi, my name is Steve Martelli, and in this video I'm going to share with you how to connect with deeper wisdom and get clear messages from your intuition. So ironically, I just had this happen, and I thought this was the perfect time to be teaching this topic because on Saturday I had something happen, and the event triggered what do I want to say? The word would be the word, I don't know, not depression, but I just felt in a state of anxiety. That's the word, anxiety. And I rarely get anxiety. I really do because I've been meditating for all these years. So I had some anxiety, and because of that, I was unclear of what to do about the problem. And yesterday, so Sunday, I started to get a little bit of clarity during the day, but then I did this process and it really helped me get like lasered in and clear on what I needed to do next. So if you have any sort of mild or even very high anxiety and you're finding that you're just not getting clarity in terms of what the path forward needs to be, this process I'm going to take you through is an excellent way to get connected with your deeper wisdom and get clear messages from your intuition so that you know exactly what you need to be doing next. Okay? So, first, why do we get disconnected from our intuition and these clear messages from our intuition? The reason this happens is when the heart gets incoherent. And what I mean by incoherent is it's out of rhythm with other organs and other cells in the body. And generally the circadian rhythms and the rhythms of the earth. So it's just totally out of rhythm. So it might, your heartbeat might regulate at a different rate when it's incoherent. But incoherence is when the cells and your general biochemistry or general physiology is not firing in coherence, meaning it's not every cell is firing and thinking, because every cell is a thinking cell, the same thing. And because of that, there's confusion, and that confusion then sets us in different directions that messes things up. So how do you get connected back to these clear messages of your intuition? This process you can use anytime you get any sort of problem happens, you can use this. So I'm going to take you through the process right now, and you might have to stop the video a couple times to actually do this process, because if you do it, then you'll get the benefit of your intuition. So the first thing is you want to ask yourself a question. Step one is what happened. And what I mean by what happened is what was your experience and what triggered you, and how did you feel? And then what I want you to do is I actually want you to write it down. That's really key. I didn't put that here, but you've got to write it down. Okay? So write down the answer to what triggered you, what happened, what was the problem, what was the experience and the feelings that you're having. Not the solution, just write down what happened. Okay, so you might want to pause the video and do that right now. So journal it out, write it out by hand, okay? Pen and paper, good old-fashioned way to do it, okay? So just write it out. So that's the first step. Once you've done that, what I want you to do next is that we're going to step two. Okay, so if you haven't done this yet, you'll want to do it. Otherwise, this will be useless. So stop the video and do it now. Okay, so write out what happened. Okay, whatever the problem was, my boyfriend broke up with me. I had something happen with my business. A client left me. Whatever it was, describe what happened, what the feelings are, and the experience. Just write it down. Okay, I'm going to reiterate that you need to write that down. It's really important. Why do you want to write it down? Is because it brings it into your awareness. Keeping it in your head does nothing for you, but writing it down, you get more objective. You're not associated with it, and you kind of look at it, and you'll be like, okay, that's what happened. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is you want to get connected. And so what I want you to do right now is I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to think of something that makes you feel grateful. If you have pets, I want you to think of your pets. If there's music that you really like, I want you to think of that. If there's a place that you really feel grounded in nature, I want you to think of that. And I just want you, the most important part of this step is I want you to feel what it feels like to be in that place, to be in the company of that pet or that person or in that location, and just feel gratitude, okay? And what we're doing right now is you're getting coherent. The heart's starting to get more coherent, which it's going to give you better signals, okay? So just feel that feeling. That's it. That's step 2, okay? Now that you feel that way, what would be an effective solution and a direction forward? And that's the third question, okay? The third question, or the third part, it's not the third question, this is just the third part, is what would be an effective solution and a direction forward? And what action can you take knowing this clarity? And I want you to actually write it down again. This is really important. So you need a journal for this. So you write down the answer to the question, what would be an effective solution and a direction forward for you to take? Okay? And then some sort of action. And that's it. So again, I'll take you through the process. Number 1 is you want to ask yourself what happened, what was the problem, and what was your experience and how did it make you feel? And then you want to write it down. You want to journal it, okay? It might be just a few sentences, it might be a full page, whatever it is, okay? Once you're done that, step 2 is to get connected and to think of something that makes you feel grateful so that you get your heart coherent again. Because that's when you get intelligence. That's when you're able to connect with these messages from your intuition. And you'll start to feel better just by doing that, just by feeling grateful. And then the third step is, now that you are coherent, your heart's more coherent, you feel aligned, what would be an effective solution and a direction forward and an action you can take? And again, you want to write that and journal that down. You do those 3 things, what you'll do is, for any problem that you have in your life, you can solve it with your intuition. Get these clear messages from your intuition, okay? So what I'd like you to do is, after going through the exercise, just let me know in the comments below what you were experiencing and how this process has helped you. What sort of clarity did you get? Obviously, if you like this video, like and share it if you could. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe to my YouTube channel, okay? Short video this week. Just wanted to share this process with you because I found it very helpful. I went from a state of feeling anxiety to feeling very clear of what I needed to do, and then a sense of peace because I knew exactly what I needed to do next. So give it a shot, try it out, and then let me know in the comments below what you got out of this, doing this process, okay? Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name's Steve. If you want to get on my waiting list for my book coming out early next year, the 7-Day Manifestation Experiment, How You Create Your World, there's a link down below. You can opt in and get on the waiting list. Okay? Thanks for watching. My name's Steve. We'll talk to you next time.